Nearly 15% of Illinois residents are fully vaccinated for COVID-19, according to the latest data from the Illinois Department of Public Health. But many are still on the hunt for an appointment, and there are questions about how things will operate as vaccination rates rise. Amanda Vinicky joins us now with more. Amanda.
Paris, more than 5 million doses of the COVID vaccine have been administered in Illinois, and now Governor J.B. Pritzker is among them. The governor had been encouraging other folks to get a shot.
We really do have a fighting chance now to bring this pandemic to an end. We have 3 incredibly effective and protective vaccines that will protect people from getting very sick, prevent them from needing to go to the hospital, and will keep people alive who would otherwise pass away from this virus.
Still, the governor had heretofore not gotten vaccinated himself, despite his own guidance that since early February has included lawmakers among those eligible.
But I also want Illinoisans to know, especially those who may not yet feel confident enough to get vaccinated, that I'm not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
It is one and done for Pritzker, who received the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The state, by the way, expecting a whole lot more of that to come at the end of this month. Now, the governor got his jab at a mass vaccination site in Springfield on the Illinois State Fairgrounds. He says he's not scared of needles, and he felt the same after getting the shot, just more fortified.
The vaccine is here, and that means hope is here. So here's my ask of you. If you have received this safe and effective vaccine, please talk to your friends and family about how friendly and efficient it was and the process here at the state mass sites.
There are more than a dozen of these state-run mass vaccination sites throughout Illinois. A new one opens in Forest Park on Friday. Now, most, like this one, are run by the Illinois National Guard. Before leading IEMA, by the way, Alicia Tate-Nadeau was the Guard Brigadier General. Sites like this are helping to move the state's vaccination rate up, such that about 66% of adults age 65 and over have received at least their first COVID shot, and that is a key metric. Per the governor's reopening guidelines, things can open up once 70% of seniors have received their COVID vaccine, meaning that Illinois is rapidly getting to that point, inching closer to the bridge phase. That bridge will allow outdoor events to have as many as 500 people, and then meetings like conventions and hotels and such, as many as 1,000 individuals. The phase will also allow museums, stores, and restaurants to increase their capacity limits up to 60% or more if those in attendance are fully vaccinated. Per the rules, folks who are fully vaccinated do not count toward those capacity limits. Chef Rodolfo Quadros of Bucktown's Pan-Latin restaurant Amaru says that it is a nice gesture, but
honestly, it's logistically impossible for restaurants to see who is vaccinated and who is not, to try to tell a fake vaccination slip from a real one, because inevitably is what will happen.
The chef says Amaru had tried to figure out a way to work this in so they could have more people at the restaurant, but decided that it would just be a total nightmare.
Tempted to think that we can do more, but for us, we've taken the approach that we're going to try to keep surviving the way we've been doing and making sure that our guests feel safe. You know, if I'm vaccinated, you wouldn't know that necessarily. So you're going to feel uncomfortable that I'm a little too close to you, or I'm counting against the total amount of guests that can be in the room and whatnot.
So one idea that the governor was asked about was a vaccine passport, something that people could show to prove that they have been vaccinated for COVID-19. Pritzker says he kind of likes the idea, maybe a phone application that somebody can show for their vaccination status. But he says it has to not be mandatory.
I do like the idea, though, that everybody will have with them easily on their device. Most people carry their devices with them, some way to show that they've been vaccinated. Look, your friends, your neighbors, when you all want to get together, you may also want to show each other that, hey, it's okay, we can take our masks off as is directed, the CDC is allowed, as long as the group of people getting together have all been vaccinated.
When I asked Chef Quadros about this, by the way, as he was getting meals ready for what he hopes is going to be a busy night, given that it is restaurant week, it seems a little late for something like that, recognizing a whole lot of logistics went into vaccinations, but this is something that needed to be done before we saw things like 5 million doses of COVID vaccine having been put in people's arms here in Illinois. Now, all of this comes, though, as Chicago's public health director has signaled a worrisome rise in COVID cases in the city. Now, the state's reopening plan could go in the opposite direction of reopening and instead lead to more restrictions if that continues.
I don't expect us to get there, but I'm also, I've been to this movie before and seen, the rising positivity rates, and I'm concerned about it. And I've been saying all along, even as we have addressed the mitigations and tried to lower mitigations here or there, I've said we got to be careful about the variants.
Now, to help prevent any sort of reopening reversal, of course, wear a mask and then get vaccinated. Chicago is massively expanding eligibility starting Monday. And then, of course, statewide, everyone is eligible starting April 12th. So if you're in the city, you can go to one of those state-run vaccination sites elsewhere starting April 12th. Paris, back to you.
Moving fast, but we have to keep our eye on those rising numbers. All right, Amanda, thank you very much.